In the last video, we saw Mitsubishi Australia's take on a rally-inspired special edition. Let's see what Japan can do.
Back in the late 90s, Mitsubishi was in an arms race. The battlefield? The World Rally Championship.
If the 80s was defined by the insanity of Group B and the absolute monsters spawned by the likes of Lancia, Audi, Ford, then the 90s is defined by the rise and dominance of the Japanese giants.
The big three players were Toyota, with the Celica and Corolla WRC cars, Subaru, with the Impreza WRX and its iconic blue and gold livery, and Mitsubishi.
Mitsubishi had two key weapons in its arsenal.
The first was the legendary Lancer Evolution, a fire-spitting four-wheel drive turbocharged derivative of Mitsubishi's otherwise mundane compact sedan. The second was this guy.
His name is Tommi Makinen, otherwise known as the guy that put Mitsubishi's rally program on the map.
It's hard to get across just how absurd Makinen's run was. Let's take a look through the drivers' champions of the 1990s and see how he stacks up. Carlos Sainz kicks off the 90s with a win in his Toyota, a first for a Japanese car at WRC. In 91, the European brands take one last pot shot with a win for Juha Kankkunen in a Lancia Delta. Sainz fires right back in 92 in a newly updated Celica Turbo. In 93, Kankkunen, obviously done trying to challenge the Celica, defects and grabs another win in a Toyota. 94 sees another Toyota win, this time with Didier Auriol behind the wheel. 95 is a turning point, with now legendary driver Colin McRae taking the win in the blue and gold Subaru. Then, 96 rolls around, and Tommi Makinen takes the victory in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo. Then he does it again in 97, and 98, and 99. By the turn of the millennium, Makinen had won 4 consecutive drivers' titles, and helped deliver Mitsubishi's 1998 manufacturer's crown in the process. So Mitsubishi did what any manufacturer would do when they've got a legend and a winning car. They built a special edition.
And this is what they came up with. It's called the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 6 Tommi Makinen Edition. Bit of a mouthful, I know.
The Tommi Makinen Edition was announced late in 1999, and the whole point was to sharpen the 6 for tarmac. Quicker steering, lower stance, a generally more responsive experience all around. So Evo 6.5 may be a nickname, but it makes perfect sense. It's not an Evo 7, but it's definitely more than an Evo 6. Think of it as the mid-season patch. So what's changed?
Start with the face. The TME gets a different front bumper and aero treatment, and depending on who you ask, it's maybe a little less shouty than the normal 6. More purposeful.
Then there's the stance. 10mm lower tarmac-tuned suspension and dampers, and unique Enkei wheels. Not much change with the engine, still rated at the gentleman's agreement figure of 276 horsepower, but the TME did get a faster spooling titanium turbocharger for improved response. Add on a quicker steering ratio and a host of other small tweaks here and there, all contributing to what should be a pretty special package all up.
The car was famously offered in red, a first for the Evo 6, and also had the option of a decal running along the side. Now this car is silver and obviously sans stripe for a more subtle look. Inside it leans into the special cues, Recaros, Momos, the whole this is the hero car vibe. Beyond the special cues though, you start to see a lot of very regular Mitsubishi Lancer. I used to own a Mitsubishi Lancer, a very base model one, and there isn't a lot to distinguish this car from that. We've got the Momo flare with the wheel, and unlike the Rally Art Diamante in the last video, this actually is a Momo wheel. We've got the Recaro seats, real Recaros this time, but otherwise, It's a Mitsubishi economy car through and through. It's taking a relatively base model and pumping it up, making it aggressive, making it fast. So there's not a lot of superfluous stuff going on. But, and I feel obligated to point this out, we do have, again, my favorite AC unit in the world. So there was actually an option for an RS model of the Tommi Makinen, which is a stripped out, lightweight, super basic model. And what that means is you wouldn't get these Recaro seats, you wouldn't get a lot of these Tommi Makinen flares, you wouldn't get electric windows, you'd have windy units, you wouldn't even get air conditioning or a radio. It's a pretty hot day today. I'm pretty happy the air conditioning is here and intact.
But you know what? I think that's quite enough consumer advice. This is a driver's car. Time to drive.
The Evo 6.5. Question 1. Is it fast? Yes. Not even just fast for an old car. This thing's fast. Full stop. There's a real noticeable sense of turbo lag. Down low, it doesn't give you a lot, and then, woo, boy, okay. When the turbo comes on, it feels like it has so much more than the 280 odd horsepower it's supposed to. Oh my God, whoa. About cornering? Woo! Even after driving this only for a few minutes, I feel like I understand it. I'm not saying it's perfect. I've driven cars that are technically more capable than this. I could easily overcook it. This isn't a car that's gonna look after you if you're stupid, and I respect it. Oh, it's so impressive. It's so good. Now, I've got something to admit. I've never driven an Evo before. So my first experience driving an Evo is what a lot of people would consider to be the best one. I might not be able to compare this to another Evo. What I can compare it to is another homologation special, our old GR Yaris. The main difference is about 20 years of progress. Now, does that mean the GR Yaris feels 20 years better than this car? I don't know that it does. The Yaris has been praised for being such a good driver's car, having such direct response and feel, but I don't know, put yourself back in one of these. This car is a quarter of a century old. It feels as tight as a drum. The steering is so sharp and so responsive. The gear shifts, they're short, they're notchy, they're good. Throttle response, great. Turn in, great. If you sold me a brand new car that drove like this, exactly like this, I'd be stoked. I tell you what, it might sound like I'm glazing this thing, but I genuinely didn't expect it to be as good as it is. I always approach cars like this with lenience, I suppose, because I'm giving them a certain amount of respect for what they were in period. This doesn't need it. This is good now. Where have Evos been all my life? Tell me I could have been driving one of these? Well, maybe not one of these. And I'm sure other Evos are great, but given this is where I'm starting, this is a high bar.
I think it's fair to say I like it. A lot. But there's an enormous elephant in the room that demands to be addressed. This is not a cheap car. Sure, there was a time about a decade ago when these changed hands for 30 to 40 grand, but that is not where we are today. Regular Evo 6s float around between 50 and 60k here in New Zealand. Already a lot of money. TME prices are harder to place with them being much rarer cars, but in good condition, with the red paint and the decal, they can genuinely clear 100k. Now, this channel is not consumer advice. I'm here to share stories and experiences on cars that I'm passionate about. But it's hard to ignore the question, what else could I get for the money? The GR Yaris may not be a WRC winner, but it's definitely rally bred. It's also much more modern, much safer, probably faster, and costs less than half of the TME. Need 4 doors? Get a GR Corolla. Or a Honda Civic Type R if you don't care about all-wheel drive. Want to go even faster for less money? Pick up an early Golf R for like 20k and get a cheap tune. I don't think spending 100k on a 25-year-old Evo will ever make sense objectively, but I don't think the people buying this car need it to.
There's a pretty simple reason why people lose their minds over the Tommi Makinen Edition. It's the sweet spot, the Goldilocks zone. It's modern enough to still deliver genuine performance, but it's old enough to give you that raw, unfiltered experience. No modes, no fake sounds. It's just right.
Now, is it the best Evo ever? Well, that depends on what you mean by best. If you mean fastest, no. If you mean the purest translation of the late 90s rally obsession into something you can drive on a normal road, well, you might have something there. And let's not forget what this car really is. It was never really meant to be just a hotter Evo 6. It's a celebration. It's Mitsubishi's trophy cabinet.
Is it worth twice as much as a regular Evo 6 or more? That I can't say yet. What I will say is that I've still got this car for a little bit longer, so if you'll excuse me.